1003, 1004, 1005. Right, let's go again. 1. Does that seem familiar at all? Have you been doing hundreds of sit-ups, hundreds of crunches, planks, a couple of times a week, and you're not really seeing any results? Your stomach's not getting flatter, you're not getting a washboard stomach or any stronger? If it does, then stay tuned. Today we're going to be going through the 3 best exercises you can do from the comfort of your own home that'll have you get a strong core in no time. So the core is essentially made up of 3 sections. You've got your abs on the front, which most people know about. You've got your obliques on the sides and your lower back obviously on your back. The purpose of the core is really to transfer force or stabilise yourself. So if you're, for example, playing sport or playing football and you're sprinting around, moving from your lower body's moving from one side to the other, the core is there just to keep your upper body nice and stable. To really build a strong core and, you know, really build a big six-pack or a noticeable six-pack, I can't speak. Obviously, there's an element of reducing body fat. Everyone's got abs, they're all there. You just have to reduce your body fat to a certain amount so you can actually see them. But that's not what we're concentrating on today. We're concentrating on, you know, how do you build a strong core. So a lot of people, when they go about training the core, they do lots of reps, you know, lots of crunches, 100 reps, you know, every single day. The core is like any other muscle, or the abs and the obliques we're going to focus on today, like any other muscle group, they need to be challenged. So all the things we're going to do today, you'll see, as soon as we can kind of hold it, or hold it for 30 seconds, or we're going to be doing, you know, low reps, as soon as we can do that, we're going to make the variation a little bit tougher. Like any other muscle group, we need to challenge it, otherwise it's not going to grow and not going to get stronger. So enough of me blabbing away. Here are the 3 best exercises that you can do from the comfort of your own home for your core. So the first exercise we're going to do is called the hollow body. You'll see why it's called that in a second. But all the exercises we're going to do today, they're going to have 4 variations to them, but quickly, just on technique, before we go through the variations. For this one, we're going to be lying on our backs. The main thing to think about when you're doing this is to keep your lower back flat to the floor. I can do this exercise like this, and there's a big arch underneath my lower back. That means we're not engaging the core properly, and a lot of the effort is going to be put on the lower back, which is not what we want. So throughout the whole exercise, imagine if you can put your hand underneath your lower back here. That's not what we want. Squeeze your lower back to the floor, shoulders up off the floor. If you can't fit your hand underneath your back, you're probably doing it right. So the 4 variations for this one. This is the first one, easiest one. Knees towards the ceiling, hands are going to be down by our sides here. We're going to hold this for around 30 seconds. If you can do this, 4 sets, 30 seconds with about 60 seconds rest in between, then we're going to make it more difficult. Second variation is just the legs are going to come down a little bit, so you're just making yourself a little bit longer. Again, once you can do 30 seconds 4 times with around 60 seconds rest in between, make it harder. Next variation, legs are out straight, feet together. Again, lower back pinned to the floor. Once we can do this 4 times, 30 seconds, with 60 seconds rest in between, we're going to we'll make ourselves super long, feet are going to be out, hands are going to be out, and I can't even talk anymore because it's pretty hard. So the second exercise we're going to do is called the plank. You've all probably seen the plank before, but this will be good just to make sure you're doing it correctly and also show you the 4 variations of it. So again, technique wise for this one, we're going to be doing the plank in this variation on our elbows. So the main thing again is to tilt those hips, squeeze the sort of hips up towards the ribs. That's the most important thing. Going to try and sort of flatten out that lower back. So this is it if I was doing it wrong. So lower back's arched, hips aren't tucked up, and then now that means my hips are tucked up, lower back's nice and flat. So the first variation is just on our knees. Again, making sure my hips aren't arched, my hips are tucked up towards my rib cage. Holding this again for around 30 seconds. Keeping the core nice and tight. Once you can do that for around 30 seconds for 4 sets, with 60 seconds rest in between, going to make it harder. So all we're going to do first, for the second variation, is just lift your knees up off the floor. So instead of being here now, we're going to just move up here. For the third variation, all we're going to do is just move from our elbows just onto our hands, just creates a little bit more instability. So essentially you're just there in a press-up position. So hands on the floor. again, lower back isn't arched, nice and tight. Squeeze your bum, squeeze your abs, that'll mean your hips then tucked up. And again, we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Once we can do 4 sets, 30 seconds with 60 seconds rest in between each set, then we're going to move on. The final variation, all we're going to do is just move the hands out a little bit further away. So like I said in the first video, your core's there just to transfer force. So the longer you make yourself, the tougher it's going to be in general. So all we're going to do is move from here, again, core nice and tight, hips tucked under, just move the hands a little bit further away. The final exercise is going to work on the obliques. So obviously you've got obliques either side of your abs. So the first 2 exercises we went through were mainly for the abs. Now we're going to work obviously on the sides. So this is essentially a side plank. So you've probably seen this one around before. But again, one of the most important things is, even though we're working on the sides, we want to tuck that pelvis under. Again, I haven't said it before, but for all the other exercises we've done, if you are doing the exercise and your lower back does start to arch during the exercise, that's when you stop and then make it a little bit easier for yourself. So for this exercise, it's just a side plank. So we're going to have one foot on top of the other, or you can just go one foot just behind the other. And all we're going to do is just come up onto our elbow. Again, core nice and tight. Squeeze your bum, squeeze your abs. And we're just going to hold here for 30 seconds again. Once you can do it for 30 seconds, second variation is just being in the same position, but just pulsing up and down really slowly for the whole 30 seconds essentially. So being in this position, just pulsing up and down, nice and slowly, for around 30 seconds. Again, remember to do both sides, 30 seconds on both sides. The third variation for this one, similar to the plank, we're just going to move up onto our hand. So one hand on the ground, and again, feet in a similar position, either one behind the other or on top of each other. So core nice and tight. And then the final variation is just moving up, moving down, pulsing up and down, nice and slowly for the whole 30 seconds. And remember to do both sides as per the other example. I hope you found it insightful. Give them a go, let me know what you think, let me know, do you have some better exercises? There are lots of different exercises out there. They're my 3 favourites you can do from home. I think I almost have abs now. If there's anything else you want info on, let me know down below. Comment, subscribe, whatever it is you do on YouTube, and I will see you for the next video. Enjoy.